You got a 3% raise with 7% inflation. They called it a raise. They called it recognition. You did the math. Your purchasing power decreased. Your gratitude was expected. The email arrived at 4:47 p.m. Congratulations on your salary adjustment. 3%. The subject line had a celebration emoji. Your rent went up 12%. Your groceries cost 40% more. Your commute doubled in price. The celebration emoji didn't account for that. You ran the numbers. Last year, you could afford 17 grocery trips per paycheck. This year, with your raise, you could afford 14. The math was simple. The gratitude speech your manager expected was complicated. They called it cost of living adjustment. The cost of living laughed. Your living adjusted downward. Your apartment got smaller in your budget. Your meals got simpler. Your future got postponed. The adjustment was working exactly as designed. You smiled during the performance review. You said thank you. You meant it, somehow. Not because the raise helped, because you'd convinced yourself that 3% was better than the 0% they gave the person who quit last month. The person who quit was making 40% more now. At a different company, you told yourself that didn't count. The meeting ended. Your manager said you earned it. You'd worked 53 unpaid overtime hours last quarter. You'd delivered 4 projects ahead of schedule. You'd trained 3 new hires. Your earned it calculation looked different than theirs. They counted effort. You counted hours. Neither of you counted what you lost. You checked your new salary against rent listings. You'd been planning to move somewhere with a second bedroom, somewhere your kid could have their own space. The 3% raise moved you from impossible to still impossible. Progress, they called it. You called it math. Your coworker got 2.5%, she cried in the bathroom. Not because 2.5 was worse than 3, because she'd been there 11 years. Because she remembered when 2.5 meant something. Because she'd done the same math you did. Her tears weren't about the percentage. They were about the purchasing power she'd lost while being loyal. The company announced record profits that same week, 17% growth. The CEO got a 40% bonus. The press release used the word modest to describe executive compensation. It used the word competitive to describe yours. Modest was 7 figures. Competitive was the minimum amount to keep you from quitting immediately. You looked at job listings that night. The other companies were offering the same math. 3% here, 2.8 there, 4% if you were in a critical role. None of them accounting for 7% inflation. All of them expecting gratitude. All of them calling it recognition. Your partner asked if you got the raise. You said yes. They smiled. You didn't explain that yes meant no, that the raise was a cut. That recognition meant, we see you, we just don't value you enough to keep pace with reality. You let them be happy for 30 seconds. Reality could wait until tomorrow. You ate the cheaper pasta that week. Not because you liked it, because the 3% raise didn't cover the distance between the pasta you used to buy and the pasta you wanted to buy. Small adjustments, you told yourself. Temporary sacrifices. The same things you said last year and the year before. The adjustments were becoming permanent. The sacrifices were becoming your standard. The gratitude email was due by Friday. Please reply confirming your acceptance of this compensation adjustment. You typed thank you. You meant I understand. You meant I'm trapped. You meant I did the math and staying is expensive but leaving might be worse. You meant the cost of gratitude is higher than 3% but lower than unemployment. You hit send. Your purchasing power decreased 4% that year. Your title stayed the same. Your responsibilities increased. Your raises compounded annually. So did inflation. The gap widened. The math never lied. The companies never stopped calling it recognition. Economists have a term for it now. The negative raise phenomenon. When salary increases fail to match inflation. When compensation goes up in numbers but down in value. When workers earn more money but buy less life. The studies started in 2019. The corporations lobbied to stop them in 2020. The research continues, quietly. The raises continue. Loudly, you're still there. The 3% is now 3.2. Inflation is now 8.1. The gap is widening. Your gratitude is still expected. Your math is still accurate. Your future is still postponing itself. They're calling it a tight labor market. They're calling it competitive compensation. They're calling it the best they can do. You're calling it what it is. A pay cut with a celebration emoji. Recognition that you're valuable enough to keep, not valuable enough to actually pay. The math never lies.